Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Something Else podcast. My name is Gabriella, of course, and this is my guest.
Carmelo Francois.
And today we are getting into a conversation where we talk about mental health in the Caribbean communities. And I feel like this is a great conversation to have because nowadays, I mean, of course, mental health is such a big topic, but I really feel like it hasn't been really discussed
Right.
in the Caribbean community. But before we get into that, it's the affirmation of the week. Okay, these are by Intelligent Change, by the way. I always say that, but say it again. Oh, this is a good one. Financial abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly. Hallelujah. Touch my wallet, Lord. Touch the wallet. Touch the account. Send $1 million to the Chase Bank.
Hey,
So I feel like we've all had our own experiences. I don't know how your experiences have been, but I know for me, like when I was growing up, if you told your parents like you were sad or you were depressed, they're like, go pray. Like, we need to take you to the altar. We need to get you to church. And that's great too. But sometimes it's like when you're in certain frames of mind, you're kind of like not even there.
right, right.
So, like, how have your experiences been?
Well, for me, I come from a Haitian background.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Haitian American, of course. For me, it's like growing up, if I ever felt depressed or sad, I've always get told, hey, suck it up. Or like, however, or whatever that you're feeling, it's not that serious. So, you just probably being sensitive about the situation or pretty much overreacting. And as I got older, I just kind of took it for a grain of salt. Like, oh, okay. And it really bothered me. It really bothered me, especially how I interacted with people. Especially taking crap from people. Like, someone said something to me, or like if I told that person, "Hey, what you did to me, I didn't like it," and they start pretty much ignoring how I feel. I tend to shut down, and it bothered me for like 20 plus years. And it wasn't until once when I met my wife now, um, I noticed that in her culture, she's able to express herself, and I found that to be weird. I was like, wait, you're able to talk to your mom, talk to your parents about something that you feel, and he told me, yeah. I was like, wow. In my culture, you know, I'm pretty much unable to do that. I always get shunned away,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I found out, and I found that to be very, very unique. That since she's able to do it, I could do it too.
Yeah.
So I just thought that there has to be a change now because I'm just tired of, especially Caribbean men. I'm not gonna ignore the women now, but for us men, we're tired of like getting our feelings shunned away.
Yeah.
We want to express ourselves just the same way how a female would, but just in a respectful, and in a understanding manner as well. And I just feel like this has to change. Enough. Being quiet about it. Like, we need, like, our voices need to be heard no matter what.
Yeah. And what culture is your wife?
She's African American.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That really that also puts it into perspective too. Like when you come into a relationship with someone, sometimes it's usually the case. You'll of course you'll have a situation where you'll have two people who are really good at communicating with each other, but usually sometimes one of them is a little bit of a better communicator.
Correct.
But that's a for sure thing in Caribbean households, especially for men. Like, there's no really expressing your feelings.
You're right.
Like, even now that I'm older, and this is so funny, and I always say this when you get older, you see your parents for actual people.
Really.
They're no longer your, you don't really look at them at the eyes of your parents anymore.
Right.
Like, when you get to a certain age, you're like, oh, you got problems,
Problem.
problems.
Right.
I'm like, even when I look at my dad, I'm like, do I even know this guy for real? Like, have I ever seen him like express his emotion, talk about his feelings? But that's the thing. When you come into like different cultures, then you see that with other cultures, certain things are not talked about. They're not accepted. I'm not too sure with how Haitian culture is, but like some cultures, they're not affectionate at all.
They're not. Especially in the Haitian community, the older generation, I would say, they're not very affectionate. They show affection in different ways.
Yeah.
Probably like give you money occasionally, or like just say good job. Rarely. And I remember one time, um, I was in high school. This is a different situation. I was in high school, and I pretty much kind of knew what I wanted to do outside high school. And one day, my dad came over my house. Um, I was excited to tell him about my plans. Say, hey, I can't wait to tell him about my plans. He's gonna be proud of me. And I remember when he came over, he asked me, hey, what do you want to do after high school? I told him I want to go to Monroe College. That's the school I graduated from in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Want to go to college, major in sports management. Once I say sports management, the first few words that came out of his mouth was I was full of shit,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hurt. I was hurt, and you know, it really put me in a dark spot place at that moment because it's like, dang, even my own father, like I cannot come to you to share good news with you without being criticized about it.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it kind of like hindered my relationship a bit
Mm-hmm.
because for me it's like I was scared to share news with people or like share news with my wife because I just felt like I was going to be judged or
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not going to be taken seriously. And it wasn't until my wife had to break that bad habit out of me, and that's when from there it's like there is somebody that's willing to listen to me. There is somebody that will take their time out and be proud of who I am and what I'm trying to become
Yes.
in life.
Yes.
So I just felt like, especially in the Haitian community, they will like kind of criticize you for whatever decision that you make beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for them, once when they see the result and it's actually going to fruition, that's when they decide to give you credit for it. And
Yeah.
I never understand that. I never understand that.
That's very familiar. Like that's how my parents are. Like if you tell them you're gonna do something, they're like, okay, it's great, but they need to see the money.
Right.
That's how I noticed. That's how a lot of Caribbean people are. Like they need to see the money. If you say, okay, like I remember when my brother wanted to go into the financial field,
Right.
financial career field,
Right.
real estate, finance, real estate, and my mom was kind of like, just keep your job, like. And I was like telling him like, no, go for it, But the older generation, if they don't see the money up front,
Right.
they don't want to hear it. Like if you say doctor, lawyer, okay, great, because we know you're gonna make money. And
Right.
it also sounds good for them to go to their family members and say, oh, my daughter's a lawyer, she's a doctor.
Mm.
Or once you start making the money,
Right.
they have no problem telling anybody about you.
Exactly. And I don't like that. I just felt like you just gotta accept, like, trust the process.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. Cause things not gonna happen overnight. For instance, like becoming a doctor. Of course the money is good, but behind that money, they still have debt to pay behind it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel me? So I just felt like no matter what what your child do or how I say whatever that they decide to do, support them.
Yeah.
You feel me? Hear them out, even though you may not agree, but just hear them out. See
Yeah.
where they're coming from. Because what tends to happen too, and I'm kind of experiencing that issue right now. You kind of gonna like your child probably might be resentment towards you, and you don't want that to happen. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, from the older generation, they're gonna feel like you're being disrespectful. You're not being obedient, yada yada yada. But for us, it's just like, how could I come to you? Like, you're gonna criticize me. You're gonna say things that's gonna bring me down. When in reality, I really want you to be a part of what I'm trying to do. But, you know, like they say, you don't want no negative energy around you. So
Yeah.
you have to, not everyone could come with you on your journey.
That's true.
Feel me? So not everyone could come on your journey. So you just got to do what's best for you at the end of the day.
That's very true. And also, if I have any parents watching this, it is so important to like sometimes, especially the way the older generation grew up is of course a little bit different than the newer generation. But listening to your kids, like we know parents know best, mama knows best, yes. But like listening to your kids, like having that dialogue and letting your kids actually talk to you and speak to you. Because after a while, and this could even be for like parents who are young parents who have young kids,
Right.
after a while of you not listening to your kids, like they don't want to talk to you no more. They don't want to speak to you. They would rather speak to other people than speak to you. Granted,
Right.
some people don't care.
They don't.
But if I love my child, I want my child to come to me first.
Absolutely.
I would hate for them to feel like they couldn't talk to me. Like, I always, sometimes I think about it and I thought about the way that I grew up. My parents did the best with the tools that they have, and I'm forever grateful. But sometimes I wish I could have just said, I just need to talk to you. I don't need you to say anything. I
Right.
just want to talk to you. But like we spoke about, as you kind of get older, you see your parents through the lens of being people.
You're right.
Like they have their own trauma, they have their own shortcomings. And that's something that, after a while, but what I really like also is that you said your wife has played a big part in helping you, just develop emotionally.
Yes.
I think that's really important. So I know that you said she's American. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for 2 years. We've been married for 10 months now.
Oh, you guys are newlyweds.
Yes. And
Congratulations.
we also have a child together.
Oh my gosh,
So,
boy or girl?
boy.
You see,
Yeah.
and then that's so important that you're so like becoming self-aware because now you have those lessons to instill in your child.
Yes.
So like, how has now coming into fatherhood begin to like shape your like emotional mind?
It played a pivotal role. You know, I just want to be sure that I don't make the same mistakes that my parents did.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, my son, he's going to grow up, and eventually he's going to want to do things, and I don't want to be that parent that wasn't there for him.
Yeah.
Whatever that he decides to do, as long as it makes sense, it makes sense. But I just want to be there for him. I want him to come to me. I don't, I would hate for him to go to somebody else and talk about what he desired to do, what he wants to do, or like what's bothering him, how something's making him feel. Like I want to be his to go person,
Yeah.
his go to person, no matter what. And also too, it really humbled me in a way that how should I say it? How I look at my parents now, how you said, you look at your parents as people,
Mm-hmm.
kind of give them forgiveness in
Yeah.
a way,
Yeah.
because
For sure.
they didn't know no better. You know, my pops didn't grow up with he did not grow up with his mom nor dad. So in other words, like he did not come from a foundation on how to raise a family or how to raise a child. Feel me? They pretty much learn as they go.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's something I had to kind of put my pride to the side instead of being more mad, bitter at them for it. So I just felt like forgiveness really played a key. You just gotta understand that my parents didn't know no better. Every parent that probably went through the same thing, probably my parents went through, they probably didn't know no better. So you just gotta give them the benefit of a doubt to a certain instinct. Because at the end of the day, we human, of course, we're gonna make mistakes. But if you continue to make that same mistake, now I say it becomes some choice.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like that's it.
I hope you are enjoying this week's video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new uploads. Now back to the episode. That's true. That's true. And to elaborate, forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you.
Yes.
When you forgive someone, it's not to, oh, okay, I'm just letting them slide. You're forgiving them so that you can be free.
Yes.
Because we hold on to things, and most of the time, the person has already gone on living their lives.
Yeah.
Or most of the time, they don't even know. So, key takeaway, forgiveness is for you. And also, definitely, like, addressing it and allowing people to like learn, like giving them grace, like even your own parents, as crazy as it sounds, like our parents need a lot of grace, especially from people who kind of like you mentioned your dad didn't have his mom or his dad
Right.
had to raise himself.
Yeah.
Like we really have to give them grace. Like sometimes when I hear my dad talk about his stories like growing up, I'm like, it's only God while you're in your right mind, brother.
Right.
Because seriously, people go through all these different things. But another thing that I will say is this. In the Caribbean community, I just want to put this out there. You can have Jesus and therapy. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right.
Because a lot of the time, people are like, oh, just go pray, or go to church, or it's because you're doing this. And it's like, sometimes people really need to talk about it.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in therapy. You know, I'm not gonna say I was against it, but I just didn't see the purpose of it at first until when I started going to therapy. It's like everything that you tell your therapist is like a heavy weight, like a heavy thing that was on your shoulders just finally off you now. And at the end of the day, you just want to be heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying you want to be right, you want to be wrong. It's just like you just want to be heard. Like, let me get my point across, because that's just how I'm feeling. You don't know how someone else is feeling. Only the person inside their own body knows how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So, you know, church is good. You feel me? I'm not going to disregard any religion person that loves church, but therapy is good as well. Like, there's someone out there that's willing to listen to you, that's willing to help you go through your problems, help you, help you go through your problems the best way that they can. And I just felt like, you know, any male or female in the Caribbean culture or any culture, period, it's good to go to therapy. Don't let anybody tell you different.
That's true. That's true. And sometimes you just, and that's another thing too. When you grow up and you're from the Caribbean, I guess this could go to all cultures as well.
Yes,
Because,
all cultures.
like, really, I want to say non-American cultures.
Yeah.
I love my American brothers and sisters. But if you're like non-American, the way they look at certain things is like even therapy. Like, why are you telling this person your bit? First of all, they sign something that they can't go tell nobody, unless it's like really crazy, like you say you're gonna kill someone or kill yourself.
Right.
Then that's like we can't help you.
Mm.
You're gonna get the grippy socks.
Yeah.
But like hearing yourself speak about something to someone who first of all doesn't know you, doesn't know who you're talking about, it's a little bit more freeing than I feel like speaking to like your friends or
Right.
someone that you know.
Right.
Because a lot of the time their opinion is biased.
Correct.
Like when my friends tell me something, I'm gonna tell the truth. But a lot of times I'm looking at it through the eyes of this is my friend, I know her.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way she would make somebody angry like that.
Absolutely.
But someone who doesn't know you can see it from, okay, I see your point of view, but where is the other person coming from as well?
Right.
So there's nothing great about being so private that you suffer in silence.
True. And it's just like I said, this is something I've been dealing with for like a very long time. You know, when you suffer in silence, right? You tend to do things that you're not supposed to do, or like you just do by mistake. Like you would people please, or you just shut up and listen to what the person has to say. In other words, like you make that person feel right, and that's a mistake that I made. And now that I have a son now, I don't want him to make that mistake. You feel me? Like if something's bothering him, speak your mind. You feel me? At the end of the day, however that person takes it, like reacts to the situation, that's on them. That's not on you. As long as you get your point across in a respectable manner, you feel me? In a respectable manner, then you're good. It just, we just gotta stop, being silent about things. Because, with the suicide rate, with, people doing things that, they probably might regret later on, this is why, men's mental health for in the Caribbean culture need to be talked about more.
Yeah. First of all, there's like the rate of suicide for men is statistically higher than it is for women.
Right.
And when you hear like certain men talk about certain things, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the reason why. Because men are not really, prompted to talk about their feelings.
Right.
And talking about your feelings doesn't make you weak. I'd rather someone tell me, hey, like I'm feeling really depressed, I'm feeling really down, than you not talk about it at all, and then I get that late night text that something happened to you or you did something to yourself. That's why it's so important to listen, like, and not always have to feel the need to like speak, to
Right.
just speak all the time.
I agree.
Like, it's important to let people express themselves.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Like I tell people around me, when I express myself, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be wrong. I want to let you know how I'm feeling, and that's it. I don't need your 2 cents. Just, hey, I just need somebody to talk to about the situation, and that's really what it is. I don't got time. Life is already short as it is. I don't got time to prove nothing to nobody.
Yeah,
You
for
feel me?
sure.
At the end of the day, the only person that you have to prove is yourself. Because the moment that try to prove yourself to somebody, you giving the person a leeway on you, have a motive on you, as they would say. It's just that we just want to be heard. That's really what it is. I'm speaking for most men out there. We just want to be heard. We don't got time to be right. We don't want to be wrong. We just want to be heard. The same way how I don't want to be biased or sexist either, but how females like to express, how you guys express yourself on a daily basis. Talk about the work field, like, oh, my boss did this to me, or like, my coworker did did something stupid to piss me off. Just the same way, how I said we just want the same energy, in return. Like the same way that you would tell guys, hey, hear me out, is the same way us guys want females to hear us out.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with listening to your man, listening to your guy friends. Like me and my best friend, we always talk. And sometimes I'm like, okay, like tell me what's going on. Like I give him advice, he gives me advice. I hope y'all don't hear my stomach growling on this microphone. Nonetheless, um, we have like a dialogue, we have a conversation, and when someone is expressing themselves, I think I said this before in the episode, but you're gonna hear it again. That is not a sign of weakness. Like we need to get that through our head. And
Yes.
that goes for everybody. That is not a sign of weakness to express yourself. A lot of the times when you're growing up in a Caribbean household and they tell you something, they don't want you to ask questions.
Yes.
They don't want you to ask questions and they don't want you to have an opinion. Once they say do this, that's it. And then that also trains the kids that they shouldn't question someone, maybe even if they don't feel right about something,
Right.
which is not correct. Because if someone is telling you, oh, do this, do this, do this, if they're in a situation where someone is telling them to do something that's uncomfortable for them, they may still do it because they want to please people.
Exactly.
And that's out the window. Throw it out.
Mm.
When you're driving on the highway, throw people pleasing out the window. Litter it. Like that will keep you from so much in life.
Respectfully, yeah. And when you people please, it's just a disadvantage for you.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
disadvantage for you. Then, like I said, if it wasn't for my wife, I would not be where I'm at right now. I would not be able to handle certain situations how I'm handling it now. It just, I just felt like I was still been in that dark place. I still felt like I've been people pleasing still. I still feel like I would just do uncommon things that I'm not supposed to do. So I just felt like, you know, now that I'm more older, a little bit more wiser, still stupid though. Felt like, us guys, we just need to, be smart about what we do. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're not here just to suck up emotions and just suck it up and keep it pushing. No. We just want to express ourselves. We want to address situations. This is just so it doesn't linger on later on. And that's it. We just want to be heard. Just heard. That's the overall key, is to be heard. We don't want to be right. We don't want to be wrong. Also, too, listen. Just listen. It's the reason why we have 2 ears, one mouth.
That's true.
2 ears and one mouth. So it's good to listen more than to talk.
I agree.
Mm.
I want to say having a partner, this is so important. Having a partner who sees you for you and tries to help you become a better you is so important. Like, it's not just enough to satisfy your physical desires. Throw that out the window. Because if you can no longer throw it out when you're driving on that highway, just toss it. Because if the only thing that is keeping y'all together is physical attraction, off with your head, the both of you, because you're not gonna last. But having a partner who's able to emotionally strengthen you is so important, because it's just more than meets the eye. Because when you're going through and that is something to highlight, because when you're going through something, if you don't have a partner who can help you, who can make you look in that mirror like, hey, like, I know who you are, I see you for who you are, and encourage you, off with the both your, I'm telling you, off with your head. Like, you're just gonna have a hard time.
Right.
Like, sometimes you can have two people in a relationship, and then the other person, does something, harms themselves, and the other person's like, I never knew. Well, yeah, you didn't know. He was suffering inside. You really couldn't see it. Granted, sometimes people don't see the signs, but it's important to be emotionally in tune with your partner.
Yes.
Anyways, that's on my couples counseling series. We're gonna do that another day. But if you could give one word of advice to someone who's watching this episode, what would you tell them?
One piece of advice: it is okay to not be okay. You know, never go around to pretend that you always fine. At the end of the day, you human. You have feelings. Feel me? Whatever that you're feeling, just express it. Just go to therapy. That's how I would tell. Not even like the people close to you will probably hear you out. They probably might only just see it for from their perspective. But go to therapy. Therapy will help you a lot in the long run. And I promise you that you will see the results that you pay for, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And I also want to add this little sprinkle. Sometimes finding a therapist, just to let you guys know, it's not a one size fits all. Like you may have to, if you don't like one therapist, you may have to try another one. Like it's like kind of like dating, let's say,
Yes,
like finding someone who fits you.
you're right.
So if you do go to someone and maybe you don't connect with that person right away, no need to feel discouraged. You just gotta keep looking until you find like your diamond. So that's my 2 cents. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having Miss Gabrielle.
This is a really good conversation. Would you like to share your socials?
Yes, y'all could follow me on Instagram at Cam from Brooklyn, CAM Wait, I'm sorry, CAMFROM and Brooklyn. Same thing on Facebook as well, Cam from Brooklyn. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Mello 97. Thank you guys.
And you know where to find us at the Something Else podcast. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye.